Today we're going to learn about multiplying and dividing integers. So your objective is to multiply and divide integers, and this is page 27. All right, well first of all we need to look at the rule. So same signs, you're going to have a positive answer. Different signs, you're going to have a negative answer. Now this is different from adding and subtracting integers, so you got to make sure you keep those straight. So one way to help remember this is I use this little upside down triangle, okay, and I call it mad face. The reason is you're going to draw two negative signs slanted in, sort of like angry eyes, and then a positive sign down here, sort of like the mouth. Okay, so it's mad face, and the reason I call it mad face is one, I kind of make it look like it's a mad face, but also so that you remember that this trick is only for multiplying and dividing. Okay, so the other part though is really nice because it's just straight multiplying and dividing. You multiply and divide like normal, but then you can use mad face to remember if it's going to be positive or negative answer. So first of all, I'm going to ignore the signs and just multiply 3 times 8. Well, 3 times 8 is 24. Now, you have -3 and a positive 8. So what you can do, and I'll draw a little mini one right here so I can cross them out, but you can also cover up with your hand. You have a -3, so I cover up a negative. I have a positive 8, so I cover up a positive. What's left over? A negative sign. So this is going to be negative. And again, I can draw one like this and I can actually cross them out. I have a -3, so I cross this out. I have a positive 8, I cross that out, and I'm left with a negative sign. So it's negative answer. Okay? So now I can do the same thing with 30 and -6, -30 and -6. Well, first I'm going to ignore the sign and just divide. 30 divided by 6, that's 5. Okay? Now, if I have a little mad face, I have 2 negatives. So a negative and a negative, that leaves a positive. Or, so that I can show you crossing them out, this negative goes away. I have a -6, so this negative goes away. I'm left with a positive. So this answer is just positive. I don't have to put the plus sign because I know if there's no sign, it means it's positive. Okay, so now let's try that, applying this strategy to here. Well, again, first we just multiply like normal. So 3 times 9 is 27. Now I'm going to use the mad face. I have a -3, so cross out a negative. I have a positive 9, cross out the positive, and I'm left with -27. Or you can also think of the song, same signs positive, different signs negative. And these are different signs, so it's negative. Okay, so now let's look at this one. 5 times 4, well, if I ignore the signs first, 5 times 4 is 20. And let's put a little mad face on here to help. We have a negative, cross it out. We have a negative, cross it out. So we're left with positive, so that's positive 20. All right, next, we're going to multiply some larger numbers. Again, you just start by multiplying like normal. So go ahead and multiply these two out. So 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, placeholder 0, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. 7, 5, 3. Okay, now let's do mad face. I have a -21, cross it out. I have a positive 17, cross it out. I'm left with negative, so the answer is -357. Okay, go ahead and do this one, pause, and then check your answer. All right, now that you've had time to work it out, let's see. 235, 146. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20, 21. 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14. Placeholder 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12, 13, 14. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 placeholder zeros. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2. That's 0, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 3. Okay, now I need to do mad face. I have a negative, so I'm left with a positive, so my answer would be 34,310. All right, now we're going to do some practice with dividing. So we're going to go ahead and remember divide like normal and then do mad face. So you go ahead and do it, get a head start. Okay, let's see how you did. 5 goes into 10 twice. Bring down. 5 goes into 5 once. So 21. And let's do mad face. Negative, positive, so negative 21. All right, and the next one. 56 divided by 8, well, I know my multiplication facts, so I know that 8 times 7 is 56, so this would be 7. And then mad face, I have a negative and a negative, so that makes positive 7. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, try these two, and then we'll catch up and see how you did. All right. So, 816 divided by 4. First, let's see if we divided correctly. 4 goes into 8 twice, which is 8. I bring down the 1. 4 does not go into 1. It goes in 0 times, so hopefully you didn't forget to put your 0 up there before you brought down the 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times, which is 16. Now, if you had forgot to put that 0 and got 24, hopefully you would have realized common sense that 24 times 4 couldn't equal all the way up to 816. So just make sure when you're solving something and getting an answer that you're checking to make sure it's reasonable at the end. Okay, so now I need to do my mad face. So I have a negative, and that leaves a positive. So 204, positive 204 is my answer. All right, and negative 3 divided by 8. Remember the fraction bar means divide. So this is actually a fraction that's on our benchmark list, so maybe you already had it memorized. If not, that's okay. 3 divided by 8. 8 does not go into 3. 8 goes into 30. 3 times, which is 24. 10 minus 4 is 6. I add a 0 and bring it down. Well, that will go in 7 times, which is 56. And then I subtract that, and I get 4. Let's add one more 0. 8 goes into 45 times. So now I have no remainder left, so I'm done. I need to do mad face. I have a negative 3, a positive 8, so that leaves negative, so my answer is negative 375 thousandths. Okay, last one. This one might seem a little tricky. Let's see if you can do it without me first. Okay, well, I have one as a decimal and one as a fraction. So what I can do is I can actually make this friendlier. I could either make this a fraction and use my dividing fraction method, or I can make this a decimal and use my knowledge of dividing decimals. So you could have done either way. I'm going to start by making this into a decimal. So 13 divided by 10, that goes in once. Put a decimal and a 0. 10 goes into 30 3 times. So this is also the same as negative 3.25 divided by 1.3. Okay, so now I can just divide that. Now remember, I cannot have a decimal in my divisor, so I'm going to move it one spot to the right, which means I need to move this one spot to the right. And I'm going to rewrite this, so 13 and 32.5. Okay, now I'm going to divide. 13, next would be 26, so this will go in twice, which is 26. 12 minus 6 is 6. The decimal is here, so it goes right there in my answer. Bring down the 5. Okay, now I need to think about how many times 13 would go into 65. So remember, you can list multiples of 13, or you can do guess and check method, whichever one is more successful for you. I know that if I double this, that still wouldn't equal 65 if I double 26. So it's going to go in at least 4 times, and I'm going to estimate maybe 5 times. Okay, because I know 5 times 10 would be 50, so that would make sense. So let's see, 13 times 5, 5 times 3 is 15, 5, 6, perfect. So that's 5, which would be 65. Okay, so then my answer would be 2.5. Now I can't forget to do mad face. I have a negative 3.25 and a positive fraction, so that leaves negative. So my answer is negative 2.5. Now I'm going to go ahead and just show you what the fraction version would be in case you did it that way, or just to show you another way. Okay, so if I change this to a fraction, 3.25, well I know that's 3 1/4 divided by 13/10. And then I know I need a popcorn. So Texas popcorn, 4 times 3 is 12, 13/4. So 13/4 divided by 13/10. Now I'd have to do KCF. So 13/4 times 10 over 13. Now I could multiply this out, but since I see a 13 right here and a 13 right here, I can actually cross those out, make my life a little easier. So that now these would be 1s. So 1 times 10 is 10. 4 times 1 is 4. So it's just 10/4. And if I divide that, 4 goes in twice, which is 8. And 2 2/4 is the same thing as 2 1/2. And then again, with mad face, you'd have a negative, so negative 2 1/2, or negative 2.5. Either way. All right, well, there you have for multiplying and dividing integers. Don't forget mad face, it's only for multiplying and dividing. Really helpful, and I'll see you next time.